Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Bancroft Brothers animation podcast.
Oh, yeah, Tom. And you know what? We've got some real updates to share with everybody tonight. This is going to be a fun one. It's just you and I, no guests, no special guests or anything. Who needs a special guest? Why can't we be special?
And if you're watching us on video, we are very close right now. I've literally got my arm around Tony, mostly because we're sharing one camera, one mic, and I have to stay in the shot. I have to be holding on to Tony.
That's right.
It's weird, but it fits into some of the stories we're going to tell tonight.
Okay, Tom, tonight we want to talk a little bit about something we did over the weekend. Crazy!
Oh my gosh.
It was something that we have been talking about for a long time. And never really, I would say, wanted to
never
go
on this podcast.
To.
Never on this podcast have we ever mentioned
So
it.
For those that don't know, the Bancroft Brothers are identical twins. Okay, yes, and we both love animation. We both have had the same passion and drive for animating our whole life. Worked at Disney and other studios. So if you didn't know who we were, that's us. But we are twins, and so ever since we were kids.
And what you may not know is that one of us, me, Tom Bancroft, has twins also. I have identical twin daughters.
That's
Emma
right.
and Ellie. We're going to be talking about them because we each celebrated a birthday in July. The twins Emma and Ellie have their birthday earlier than us, and we're at the very end of July.
July 31st.
Yeah, you might
Happy birthday.
Mark that down. And so as like a special treat, Emma wanted to give Ellie this gift of going to Twins Days festivals in Twinsburg, Ohio, and make a trip out of it. And
that's a thing.
And Tony and I would go with them to make it less awkward, I guess, or more awkward.
Well, anyway, it would just be two sets of twins hanging out and and so and they talked us into it, and Tom really had to talk me into it because I could see why he would do it as a father to the girls. But I decided as their uncle,
very cool uncle.
Them. I wanted to be the cool uncle.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'm going to support you. We'll go to Twinsburg. We're busy right now. It was a little awkward to do and talk about time off for the weekend and stuff. We're working on Saturdays.
And I will add this, ended up being very expensive trip.
yeah. We had a lot of snafus and we tried there and returning.
Well, yeah. I won't go into it, but we tried to fly Allegiant and Southwest, and very problematic, especially on the Allegiant side.
Oh yeah,
we stayed at a Super 8 hotel.
It was horrible.
Don't ever do it. If you're listening right now and you're thinking of a trip and you want to save money, it ain't worth it. Go to Hampton Inn or upgrade it to a medium kind of a level hotel for another $30 a night probably, and it pays off. Trust me,
it does.
So. Long story short, Twins Days festivals have been going on for 49 years. Next year, they celebrate their 50th anniversary. We've heard about it for years now. You probably have too, especially if you're in the U.S., because it's just a weird thing. You know, publicity-wise, photos come out every year from the Twins Day Festival of just twins, just hundreds of sets of twins, all dressed up identically, by the way.
Yes, that's a big deal.
That's an important part.
Yeah.
And you've probably seen some of those through the years on social media. So this year it was us. We went, and I will say it was kind of an awakening for the four of us. And
an education, too, in a lot of ways. You know, here Tom and I have been twins for 50 years now, since birth. And, you know, there's things we learned from other twins, because here's the weird thing is that, you know, identical twins in particular are kind of a miracle of science. They don't really quite even know how or why the egg splits and creates these twins. And they tend to be pretty equal too, you know, in everything that they need to live life. Somehow that happens. And so it is a unique thing being an identical twin. We've always known that because people make a big deal of it, especially because we're in the same industry, animation. And so there's a lot of confusion that
I don't want to drop a couple of facts to go on with that. Identical twins is a technical term. It doesn't necessarily mean they look identical, and they don't look more identical, meaning they're more identical twins, right? Identical is technical. What it means is it was one egg fertilized that split at some point and actually literally became two
not
beings.
Like 25 years later. It's like in the womb
process.
Yeah,
during that pregnancy process. And so we used to be one person literally that became two people. And so that's why identical twins are such a miracle. The doctors don't know why that happens. And here's the other thing, and there might be people that can debate this, but everything what we've heard anyway, and everything research that we've done, is that identical twins are not. Sorry, Tony's clicking things, and I got confused. Identical twins are not genetic, and so fraternal twins are genetic, and that usually if there's fraternal twins in your family, and they say it skips a generation and all that, whether or not that part of it is true, I'm not sure, but that fraternal twins, you can then repeat fraternal twins in the family lineage. Identical twins, you're not supposed to be able to. And that's why when we showed up, I'm painting this picture because when we showed up to Twinsburg at the Twins Days Festival, we all dressed alike, by the way. And so me and Emma and Ellie and Tony all had on these orange shirts. The theme was racing for some weird reason. And so we had like F1 car, McLaren for everybody that cares about that. My twins actually do care about that. They're really into F1.
And they're cute.
And we would, yeah, and we would, yeah, they are. We would get stopped constantly, like, oh, McLaren, or oh, it's so much
Ferrari's better, whatever.
And we like could care less.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we were the only 4 twins there that were a lineage, we're a family of twins,
right?
Because
Father, twin,
everybody else was, 2 twin singles or whatever, doubles. But the father-daughter thing, I think we were the only one, and we're talking out of hundreds of twins that were there. So that was kind of neat because we did break the mold. They're identical. Tony and I are identical. It shouldn't have happened that close together, especially. But in general, I mean, it is just like a. Now, one thing I want to add to this is, if you're still interested, is that we're actually 3 generations in my family. My father-in-law is also a fraternal twin. Tony thinks this doesn't
fraternal
matter.
Twins, they don't count.
Yeah. But, some people would say, well, that's why you had, because it skips a generation. That's why you had Em and Ellie, but they're identical. So that throws a whole other thing. So if there's any biologists listening, hopefully you're interested in that, and that maybe we can do a world record, or I don't know, write a book about us. I don't know how it's going to
You want to get some money out of it.
But there might be money involved. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, the cool thing though, guys, is that I started to say, it's unique being twins. It's unique being identical twins. But then on top of it, to be twins that meet other twins is pretty special and unique. And it's very, very few times have Tom and I been together and met other twins and got a commiserate or talk about what it is to be a twin and just get that other person's. We did do it on a podcast. I wanted to throw this out that if you haven't heard it, go back to podcast 145. That's where we interviewed, if you remember, Sergio and Edgar Martin. They were twins, a twin artist in Europe, Spain, I think specifically, that both worked on Klaus, the animated movie Klaus. Yeah. And we had it was pretty cool because I think you could tell we were excited. If you listen to that podcast, we just were like really relating with them and asking questions like, what do you do in this situation? Or how does it work to be a twin for this when this happens? And some of it was from an animation production standpoint. And other things were just like, life stuff. Does it hurt when you poke him in the forehead? Does it hurt you? I don't, stupid things like that.
Can you read his mind? Yeah. So like, and that experience with the Martin twins, to relate it back to this weekend, it was like that times 1,000, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody, and by the way, it was a little bit like a Comic-Con where the twins were stopping people in cool costumes, or if they looked a lot alike, they would be like, can we take a picture with you?
Twins taking pictures of twins.
There was like such a hierarchy of if you looked a lot alike, not just what you were wearing,
that was
your
extra
costume,
special.
it was like you were extra cool in this crowd.
Yeah.
And by the way, fraternal twins, close your ears. Fraternal twins weren't as popular at this convention because a lot of them would call them like fake twins and stuff like that. I want to explain
they did have awards though, and I will say, Tom, that I met the winners. There was a fraternal twin award, like best or
boy and a girl.
Yeah, boy and a girl twins. Yep. that most look alike. And I met the twin couple, boy and girl couple, that actually won that award. They won first prize. So there's
You know what?
contests all weekend.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Good for them. They need to
They
get
need
something
a special
too.
treat.
Now,
Sure.
And then they immediately went onto the ice cream booth and served us.
They did actually. They were running the ice cream booth, the twin couple. But I will say, it was just unique. We learned so much about twin culture that we didn't know, and we learned things.
Oh, one of them was like when the very first twins we met. It was actually at a Starbucks before, because we were so lost, and we found some twins at a Starbucks and said, where's the Twins Festival? And they even said, as soon as they got all excited, like just twins meeting twins, they get excited.
Yeah.
And they were immediately going, well, which one's the A twin and which one's the B twin? And I
We'd
don't know
never heard
how
that.
we've been living this long and have never heard that term.
Well, you get people that always ask you, who is the firstborn, who's the secondborn? So 1 and 2 is understandable. But it was like, no, they don't use that vernacular at all.
And then that repeated over and over again throughout the weekend, which
right.
one? A lot of them really wanted to know which one's the A and the B.
And it didn't have to do with just the birth order, but it's like A and B meant something personality-wise.
Yeah.
The A's tended to be the more outgoing. They tended to be the more talkative ones and less shy. The B ones tended to take a little bit more of a back seat to the A and that sort. So it was definitely a dominant.
If you're somebody that has like twin friends, you know what we're talking about, because especially in identicals, fraternal, again, totally different world. So fraternal twins, they can be as uncommon as any other brother and sister, where they have and usually that is kind of something where fraternal twins, they tend to be very different. Like one has dark hair, one has light hair, but they even go career-wise in different directions completely. That's very rare. When we were meeting a lot of these identical twins, the other thing we found out was another common question they would ask immediately was, okay, are you the A or B? That was to sort of sum up your personality a little bit right off the bat.
Who do I talk to?
But then the other one was like, how, where do you live? Of course, just like you would at any convention. But they wanted to know how far away you lived from your twin. And what we found out was that most identical twins, especially, and I would say female more than male, even more so. I mean, they were within 10 minutes of each other's houses.
Yeah, they stayed together their whole life. And these were older twins in their 50s and 60s even that were married with kids. They've had families, and yet the common denominator was that they stayed close to their twin constantly. Now, we are at a convention, a twins convention. People that go to this kind of a convention are the close twins, right? They're the ones that emotionally like each other and stay in contact. So, of course, that's probably going to be more like that. There is another side to.
We didn't see any
identical twins. Yeah, those guys were not there at this event because they wouldn't go. Right? They want to be independent, and that's the other independent or identical twins can skew that way, where you have. They just don't want to be together. They don't want to hang out together. They want to be independent so badly that they ruin their relationship. But it is a special relationship being an identical twin, and we saw that like crazy over the weekend.
It was a really cute community overall.
Some of it was creepy,
but then there was a dark side.
We won't get into that, but we will say that there was just different levels of closeness between the two twins, the identicals for sure. Where to the point where some of them their lives blended together in a way that maybe wasn't always healthy as two individuals. So,
and there was a little, I'll say this and keep it tame. There was a little bit of a meat market to it, in that a lot of the male twins, and we're always talking to female twins, like, at a certain age, especially the 20s to 40s.
Yeah.
You didn't see a lot of like guy twins talking to guy twins. It was almost always male and female, which was, and we were there with my daughters, so it got a little bit.
They got hit on. I
got a little bit of the dad thing going on.
Yeah, the bear started coming out.
Right. I was like, "What's going on over here?"
Hey, you guys, what do you do talking to my daughters?
But the funny thing is, and I hope I'm not giving away too much, but my twins, my daughters, Emma and Ellie, they actually are kind of turned off by twins. As soon as they'll like think a guy's cute or whatever, but if his double shows up, his twin, immediately they're like, oh, gross. I don't want
Oh,
to have
that's
anything to do
weird.
with
Yeah,
it.
yeah. They just think it's weird, and yet here they are, identical twins
I know,
themselves.
makes no sense, but that's their things. They don't
Yeah.
have
So
any
some
interest in.
twins are attracted to other twin
But
groups.
we met people that weekend, and we're landing this plane. Don't worry, guys, if you're a little bored of twins. But we did meet a few couples that were married to other twins. We
Mhm.
saw some that were about to go make babies with them too. It just goes. It was all over the place. It was crazy. But it was really cool. 'Cause, like there
Well,
were
there
baby
was wholesome
twins.
stuff
We
going on
saw
too.
like 80-year-old guy twins that
Yeah,
you were talking to.
we met triplets that weekend, and
There was at least 9 sets of triplets there.
I don't know if there was any. What's a quad twin?
It's for
Quadruple. I don't know if there was any quadruples there that weekend. We certainly didn't see them, but there was over 2,300. I want to say different sets of twins.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that's not just people, that's sets of twins. It was big. It took over Twinsburg. Twinsburg loves it. It's the only thing, and the one thing they're known for is their annual Twins Festival.
Festival for 49 years.
Yeah, and it's going to keep going. So if you're a twin, and especially an identical one, check it out next year. It's the 50th anniversary.
We strongly suggest it. You should go. And by the way, there were a couple of YouTube influencers there that are twins. I can't remember their names, but Em and Ellie knew who they were.
Joan and JD. I don't know.
No, it was like Brooklyn and
New York.
Another B. So anyway, but we missed them. We didn't get to talk to them. So
yeah.
Anyway, that was our Twins Day Festival account, and I hope you guys enjoyed that and learned a few things.
This is our update with Tony and Tom Bancroft. Okay, the next thing we want to talk about is a project that we've kind of fiddled with and talked about and teased about a little bit. We're not going to talk, this isn't going to be the episode that we go deep into it, but we want to give you some updates. So Tom and I are working on a 2D animated feature. Hopefully by now you've heard about it. It is a faith-based feature called, and an independent one, not through a big studio, but independent, called Light of the World. It's not being produced by Pinchless Studios. I want to be clear about that. It's the Salvation Poem Project. They're a smaller ministry that is making big strides with making faith-based content, and they want to do more in the future. But Tom and I came on to this pretty early on. Tom is co-directing with our friend John Schaefer, who is also co-directing on it. And I'm the head of animation, the animation director. Tom is my
and you were also had a story before that, along with Jason Heaton. And so, we're very entrenched in this film and have been for over a year now. I think we're going on a year and a half, at least that I've been connected and working on it. We have about another
6 months.
6 months, about 6 months. I could go 8 months, depending on how far along I take it into post-production. But yeah, we still got a lot. And so it's being animated in Ireland by Lighthouse Studios. And they're a sister company to Cartoon Saloon, and it's sort of a co-op of Cartoon Saloon and Mercury Filmworks in Canada. So if you know Mercury Filmworks, it's a really quality TV production house that has done a lot of stuff for Disney, like Lion Guard and the Tangled series.
So our film is look-wise, style-wise, is kind of that baby of a cartoon, our Mercury Filmworks rig-based Toon Boom Harmony animation and Cartoon Saloon graphic style. And it's Jesus, the story of Jesus through the eyes of John, the disciple, who we play as like 15, 16. He's very young. And we see kind of the unraveling of the Jesus story through his perspective and eyes. So it is, Tom described it early on very well, is like our goal was to make a film, faith-based film about Jesus as if it was done by Disney in the 90s in a storybook fashion.
But not a musical.
But no music, yeah. Although Tom tried to for many, many times.
But it's really, that's what we made back in those days. Just to dive in this a little bit deeper, the Aladdins, the Beauty and the Beast, maybe not Beauty and the Beast, but Aladdin and Mulan and things like that. It was a coming of age story about a character that is right out of age, which is usually around 13 to 16, especially in the older cultures. And so they're about on the brink of adulthood. Many times they don't have parents for some reason. John does. But they go on an adventure basically to help usually save their village, their town, their family.
Right.
And that's kind of the same story here set up with John, is that he's heard about this Messiah that can basically save them from the Romans, they're under the thumb of the Romans, all the Jews. And so it does have elements of, if you're not religious, but you've seen Prince of Egypt, there's a lot of, it's around that time period that this is happening, give or take, and especially within that region.
That had some good songs in it.
It did. I know. I've been wanting it to have a song in our movie, but
I think we are.
John won't let me.
At the end, there'll be a song.
There will be.
Yeah, like in the credits and stuff.
Mariah Carey's doing. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, we're very proud of this film. We can't wait for you guys to see it. It does come out in the summer of 2025. That's the goal. And it's going to be independently released, but go pretty wide from everything we're hearing in the US. And then immediately go international and be translated in, I don't know, something like 800 different languages right off the bat, like quite a few. And then adding from that.
Except for Pig Latin.
No Pig Latin.
I don't think they're going to put it in Pig Latin.
No stay. I don't know Pig Latin.
No, is that?
Nope, stay. Nope, ski.
Stay. Yeah.
But no
anyway,
ski.
And we have been, the film producers have been dropping images lately. So as we say this, you can go on to Instagram and look at Salvation Poem Project.
No, the place you want to go is Light of the World movie. That's the Instagram page you want to go to. A lot of images are being dropped this week, just started last week. And so already got some kind of cool images. If you want to see the art style, we're really happy with the art style. And we had hired early on a company called Epiphia Films. And they brought on some really great international people and U.S. people.
Yeah,
and
people all over the world worked on it.
Created a neat style. It's funny because then we found Lighthouse Studios right after that. And they happened to be just the right amount of sort of Irish style along with European style that really suited the look we already had. And so it was that was kind of how we chose them, is that we felt like they would know our style the best or adapt to it the best.
So it's exciting. We're working on a 2D animated feature. How often does that happen, especially in the faith-based market for two guys that are Christians, And so it really does feel like we've kind of been training our whole lives for this opportunity, and it's super exciting. I really think whether religious or not, that you're going to enjoy the story. You're going to really like the look of it, the feel of it. So I really hope that it really goes out big. I want people to see this film. We're working so doggone hard on it, and we have for a long time. This is while Tom and I are teaching still, so we're at Lipscomb.
Oh, we do a podcast, Tony,
and we do a podcast on top. What? We're crazy. We're all over the place. There's one other thing that we've been doing.
Oh, here it comes.
There's one other thing that means a lot to us right now. So Tom, I moved out here to Tennessee. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, and you had a dream, I think.
There was a dream. I have a dream.
Yeah,
and I still do. One of the things that we've always talked about. So Tom and I, going back a ways.
It's kind of my idea, but keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
Anyway, Tom and I, for a long time, have talked about being involved with expos and conventions, and we have been. CTN Animation Expo, I was part of that like day one, and so is Tom. We've gone to like almost all of them.
10 years,
very supportive of that, and what Tina, the founder, had started there. And then Bobby Chu, with his buddy Jim, has started up Lightbox Expo, and we really love that too. And we go to that. We're going to it this year by way of announcement too. Tom and I will be there. We both are going to have our own tables. Hopefully right by each other. But you'll see Tom and I there, and we're going to put on some panels and things like that. But it's always been a dream of ours to do something more. And it wasn't until Tom started talking about Tennessee and his desire to see animation rise up here in Tennessee. And we knew that, in research, that there was not a professional animation convention or expo out here in the South. And we felt like it was time to do that. So that was not what spurred me to move out here, but 2 years ago, I moved to Tennessee to be a part of what's going on here. And one of my big goals with Tom was to expand upon the animation industry here in Tennessee, Nashville in particular. And we're doing that now. So by way of announcement, and some of you may know this by now, hopefully, because you've seen it on social media, Tom and I would like to present to you and offer you a chance in 2025, February 21st through the 23rd in February 25, to come to Nashville, Tennessee, and be a part of our new expo called Animation Y'all
Expo.
Expo.
Animation Y'all Expo, again, it's in February of 2025, so it's still a ways away. We are super excited about this because it's kind of the culmination of everything that Tony and I love, and hopefully what you guys love.
Yeah.
It's us giving back, but also taking. No, but also,
wow.
But also doing it for ourselves. That's the taking part I meant, is that we're going to invite a lot of our good friends that we've known through the industry, even new friends too, and they're going to be guests. So we're going to we can't announce who because we're just reaching out to them right now, but we have thoughts, and our list is pretty darn amazing. We know we're going to get a few of them.
Yeah.
So we can pretty much guarantee, because we're going to pay them, we can pretty much guarantee that we're going to get probably a Disney legend or two. We might get, some newer players in the animation. We're hoping for a little bit of diversity there, but also, some old schoolers like those Disney legends we're talking about.
And we're going to have exhibitors there too. We're going to have an artist alley. So we'll have even more, not only local professional animators coming and being part of our artist alley and sharing their wares and things that they're working on, creative projects, but then also studios too. We're hoping to have a lot of Nashville and Atlanta studios take part in this too. We have all kinds of cool sponsors. Penciler Studios, can we say that?
Penciler Animation Studios is a sponsor of this event.
That is awesome. We're happy about that. It's going to be hosted by, and our good friends at Lipscomb University is going to be hosting it. We got the facilities there, and we got some great facilities to have this at.
Facilities, I'd say, Tony.
Yeah, and we even have food. We're gonna have hopefully some really cool food trucks there.
If we don't have a Nashville barbecue food truck, I'm gonna be so upset.
Tom's gonna be upset, so we better get that because we don't want him upset. The bear comes out.
Raw. We do have a good local donut shop too. So for the VIP people, we're planning a donuts and coffee kind of a breakfast so that they can go in an hour early. Like, these are the kind of things we're thinking about. We do have a VIP package that'll include a dinner the night before on Friday night, and an early entry into
kind of pre-show, a little preview night. That's
plus,
only available for the VIPs.
Right. And at that dinner, besides Tony and I, there will be many of our guests will be there too. And so you get
other professional artists, make connections, meet people that you always looked up to or that you follow on social media. Absolutely. And then on Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, wait. And a swag bag. I mean, it's going to be an amazing swag bag.
Yes, it is. And on Saturday and Sunday, you can buy a ticket for just one day, Saturday or Sunday, or you can buy a combo ticket that are available also. And we're going to have panels. So just like you do at all the big major professional expos and conventions, panels on animation topics that you're interested in, really cool ones. We got some great plans already. And Tom and I host panels all the time. So we know what it takes to make a good panel. We know the elements that you want to see. So there's going to be great panels there. Like
You've sat through some really boring panels at cons and things like that. So have we. It drives me nuts. And so if you've gone to any of the panels that we host, usually at CTN or Lightbox, hopefully you'll agree. We try and make them fun and a little bit more interactive for the audience.
But also a combination of inspiration too, right? Because we know that a lot of you are students and you want to be inspired about what's happening in the industry. You also want information on who's hiring, are they hiring? What do I do with my portfolio? What do I put in my portfolio? We're going to have that too. A lot of our sponsors, the studios, and our animation guests are going to be looking at portfolios through the weekend too. So that's an extra bonus for sure. And then Artist Alley, I think I mentioned, but there's all kinds of different artists there that are going to be there in the room, in the space. Eat together, just talk to these folks. This is your chance to make the kind of connections that, whether you're a professional or a student trying to break into the industry, is so, so valuable. And you can't get out to California to be a part of CTN or Lightbox. That's okay. We're right around the corner in Nashville, Tennessee on the Lipscomb University campus. Check out Animation Y'all at our website, animationyall.com.
That's animation, YALL.com.
Y'all better do it.
You're done.
That was the commercial.
Yeah, we're very excited about that. We hope that you guys share in that excitement. I mean, for those of you that can't make it out to Lightbox and CTN every single year because it's so darn expensive to get out there or whatever, and I'm talking to you, Georgia, and Kentucky.
Is that a person? Okay.
Yes.
Those are states. Okay.
Yeah, some states.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, honestly, this is going to be a drive for many people. Like, I think that's where that is our sweet spot. If you're in California, come on down. We want you to.
If you're in Twinsburg, Ohio, come on down. We know what that drive is.
We do.
It's about 7.5 hours.
Once our flight was canceled, we had to get a rental car, drive it. So it's 7.5 hours. So yeah, if you're within 7 to 8 hours away, we want you there. You got to be there. Drive it in.
So yeah, that's something we're totally excited about. That's brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Tom, any other updates?
Gosh, I'm worn out just talking about all that. What else is there? I don't think.
I mean, this could go down as our shortest podcast of all time at this point.
I'm excited about that too.
But please look at our socials. Follow Tom and I if you don't already. But I'm at pumbaaguy on Instagram. What are you?
And I'm Tom Bancroft, #1. Tom Bancroft 1.
Wow, there's that A. Identical twin speaking.
Yeah, I'm an A. I'm twin A. Yep. Yeah, I wish we had other things to talk about. Please, when we drop this, there's going to be a comment section on Instagram. And so if you've just listened to this, please go back to one of our Instagrams. Yes, we should have a Bancroft Brothers Animation Podcast Instagram, but we don't. You know that.
Who's going to run it? I don't know.
I know, right? We don't need one more thing to do, guys. And so please, go to one of our Instagrams, give us some comments. Like one, what do you want to see at this Animation Expo? We want to hear it.
Who's a guest you
really want? That's the one we really want to hear right now. So we're going to drop this right away. Hopefully this Friday. We're recording this on a Tuesday. Hopefully within right?
It'll be this Friday. Yeah.
It should be this Friday. So this is fresh information. Please put in there on the comments, what do you want on an expo? Besides a job.
And a panel, maybe a panel topic.
We are, by the way, I don't think we mentioned it, but we're hoping to have portfolio reviews there, hopefully pretty organized ones, or as you go to say one of the studios that's there, you can show your portfolio there, or even, the people that are artists and Artist Alley. They're always open to look at a portfolio. Usually, you got to ask.
You got to be nice.
They're not getting paid for it, so you got to ask.
Right.
But hopefully, we'll have some organized ones too, where we've pulled together a team of people to look at portfolios too.
Mm-hmm. Animation Y'all, it's coming in February of next year. Check it out though on animationyall.com again. And thank you guys for following us. Thank you guys for listening. And along with Tom's comment thing, if there's anybody you'd like to see on the podcast, give us recommendations or suggestions. The hardest part sometimes for Tom and I in booking guests is getting a hold of them. And then also on top of that, the second thing is making sure our schedules all connect so that we can actually have time to record them. Yeah. But this is, we're midway into the year. We have some big plans coming up for guests. We're super excited about where the podcast is going. We're excited about this new year starting up Lipscomb University and teaching. We're excited about.
We're going to do a live podcast. If you like this podcast, you want to see what it looks like going live, we'll do that at Animation Y'all. We're going to have a live podcast there too. So we got a few things. Voice actors, I think. So what's different? This is where I'm landing the plane, guys. Tony, what's different between this expo and a comic convention?
Oh, well, it's not like a geek fest or a fan filled fest where there's like
Can I come dressed up in
people
cosplay?
in costume. No, it's not that kind of place. It's a professional expo, which means
I think light cosplay will be okay with.
uh,
A little dress,
Tom's gonna
you
wear
know,
something. It sounds like maybe
some,
some Mickey ears or
you know, a
something
little
like
hat.
that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to stop you from walking in with your
Maybe you got ears
Hello Kitty,
or a little tail.
backpack or something like
Yeah.
that. Maybe a little shake of the tail every once in a while is okay.
Right.
But it's a professional expo, meaning this is for artists. This is for people and creators that want to get into gaming, that want to get into animation, that want to get into what am I missing? Even children's book illustration, things like that, that want to know more and dive deeper into what it is to be in an industry, a business, and create great art. And so you're going to make connections there. That's really key for that, obviously.
So that affects the panels too, and put this in the comments too, guys. There will be a little bit more professional topics. Like if we do have voice actors, and I think we will have them there, they're going to be talking about what it's like to be a voice actor. They're going to talk about acting and performance. They're not going to just do geek voices for you. And so,
but they will do that too, I'm sure.
But they'll do that too. So we're excited about that panel too. We're already working on that one. But anyway, everything will have more of a slant toward edutainment. There's going to be, entertaining stuff, but educationally based.
And that's why it's a tax write-off too. Ooh, yeah. If you're a professional in the industry, it'll be a nice tax write-off for you the whole weekend. All the costs and expenses will be a tax write-off.
Save some time, come in a day or two early or stay a day later and go into Nashville and go honky-tonkin'. Woo! I mean, there's a reason it's the number 2 destination for bridesmaids in the United States.
I can't figure out why, but yes, it is the number 2 favorite
I think
place.
It's the pedal bars.
The pedal bars, yeah, those you got to see those. If you ever been put a bike and a bar together, and you got a pedal bar,
and a lot of people saying "Woohoo,
go girl, come on!"
All right, thank you guys for being a part of our podcast tonight. And Tony, as we always say, animate from the heart.
Be sure to subscribe to the Pencil-ish Studios YouTube channel.